Good morning on this very second day of Natya Yagya, the International Theatre Webinar, jointly organized by LD Arts College and Fanatika. This is the first session of today, and we have with us live from Ahmedabad city, Gauri Bakshi, who is a director and educator, as well as founder of Footlights Theatre on the SG Highway in Ahmedabad. And we have with us a very dynamic personality, an actor, writer, director, as well as an architect, the founder of Scrapyard Theatre in Paldi in Ahmedabad. Welcome both of you, and thank you for joining this session. Thank you for having accepted our invitation to come up on board.
Thank you for having us on board, Chintan. Thank you.
Thank you. So the theme, the topic for this conference is swimming against the current. And I think that in itself speaks for it. So my first question goes out to you. What motivated you to open a performance space? And how did you execute your dream?
Kabir sir, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, I would start. See, there is nothing as such dream kind of thing. First of all, I would like to say something about like what you said, swimming against the tide. So in Gujarat, when you are doing theatre, you are swimming against the tide. Or maybe you are with any of the art, you are swimming against the tide.
Yeah.
So besides that, this was not a dream kind of thing. I would say it was kind of a Majburi ka naam Mahatma Gandhi kind of thing.
Okay.
Because we were doing all theatre which was anti-establishment. And another thing, there was no audience for such kind of theatre, because all Gujarati theatre, it is all full of maybe WhatsApp jokes and things like that. So we wanted to do some meaningful theatre, and we had a space and we were rehearsing there, and I thought one fine day, why not to convert this space into a theatre. So this is how it started. And initially, years back, in some of the design magazine, I think precisely it was Inside Outside, there was a story on Mahesh Dattani's residence. And his residence, there was in his backyard, there was a very small amphitheater which could cater to maybe 50-60 people. So that idea was there somewhere in back of mind. That is how it came, like we can create our own theatre.
Yeah.
And when it started, I think it was the first of this kind of maybe small performance space in Ahmedabad. So when it started, I never had an idea like people would come and pay, especially Ahmedabadi people.
Yeah.
Would come and pay maybe $200 to sit under the tree and watch that play.
The show,
So
yes.
that was an idea. But then gradually it started. And your second part of the question, that is how did you
Execute.
So we had a very tough time, because when we are doing theatre, there is no money. We created lights on our own. When we started this, the rent of the stage light was around 300 rupees. And we created light out of maybe 170 or 180 rupees. That is reflectors with kind of cardboard cylinders and bulbs. We tried n number of bulbs, and like we created a dimmer with the regulator. So this is how it started.
Yes.
And almost all the things that were used over scrapyard was from the scrap. It was all recycled material when it started. So
Yeah.
this is how name came up.
This is how the name also comes on. Okay. Gauri.
So it's very different from you, Kabir sir, actually.
Yeah.
This was a dream.
Yeah.
This was a dream. So I moved to Ahmedabad from Bombay, and I have been exposed to a lot of theatre in Bombay, and there were many experimental places, who were not like a proper proscenium, and they were very experimental places over there, and they were doing some great stuff over there. So when I moved to Ahmedabad, unfortunately, I did not get to witness a lot of such theatre in Ahmedabad. And I was also I was working with children. So the whole idea of creating the place was one, it has to be experimental because that's what I do with the children. And it was to make it a specific children theater, you know.
Yeah.
And that's how we have also designed the place. You know, if you see the place, Chintan, you've seen the place.
Yes. I
It's
performed
very
there. So.
artistic. It's very artistic at the core.
Yeah.
You know, because when you talk about children, you know, they need their own privacy and they need their own space and things like that. So that was the idea behind me designing the whole space and getting
Yes.
into theatre here.
Yeah.
But as and when the space came up, there was a lot of demand of such, you know, of a black box in the city. So there were many young artists who wanted to come, not only from Ahmedabad, but from across India who wanted to come, and which I'm very happy about.
Yes.
Which I'm very happy about, that, you know, we are able to provide a platform to a lot of people, a lot of people who want to come and perform and want to really experiment with the art.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
How lovely. Actually, to share something of my own personal experience, for me, it has been a melange of what both of you said. It had been a dream as well as a struggle. And like Kabir Bhai said, that in Gujarat, when you are practicing arts, it's like swimming against the current. That is more or less common for whichever part of the world you go to. Of course, we don't have the institutionalized system here, less support and less grants, but otherwise that struggle remains the same everywhere. I mean, we were studying at
See,
SEM.
Chintan, it is not about, see, in Gujarat, people, there is no audience for such kind of thing. So my major thing was like to create an audience for good theatre. That was also a struggle by itself.
That is,
Across the world, you can find a lot of audience. If you go to Maharashtra, I think if you have a show at in working days at around 11 o'clock in the morning, it would be houseful. But over here, we cannot even think of, we cannot even imagine of. So,
it takes some time to build your own loyal audiences, and we have been very fortunate about that. That when we put up a show, then we know that it will have a certain run with a certain number of audiences, and that was our major success somewhere, to build up that audience which remains very loyal and which is constantly looking forward to which is going to be your next performance, whether in Gujarati or in English or Hindi. But coming from there, I'd like to lead to the next question, which is what are your major challenges and how do you respond to them? Running a space like this, what are the, whether everyday challenges or regular challenges or rare challenges, what are they and how do you respond to them?
So, Chintan, I figured out after a couple of years, you know, it's been like 3 years of the space running, that, you know, this space, a theater space, cannot be for money. You know, and the moment you take out that thought from your mind, everything falls.
In place.
You know, everything is good. Then you
Yeah.
start enjoying art, you start enjoying your work and things like that. Of course.
Yeah.
So that was a struggle that I was in, because of course you put in a lot of money to kind of create a space like this, and there was maintenance and things like that. But then fortunately I could do that, and be on the other side where I was actually enjoying the type of art that was coming to my place, you know. So yeah, I mean, there have been Kabir sir. There have been a couple of plays. I remember we did a lot of other kinds of plays, and we have the audience in Ahmedabad who did come for such plays. So I think I'm also waiting. The struggle is to actually develop an audience.
Yes.
The space is there, the people are ready to perform, but the struggle is really to kind of develop that audience to appreciate this kind of theatre.
True.
So that's the only struggle that I am facing right now.
I see.
see, for me, struggle is to sustain. This is the one word answer, but the main struggle is to keep a balance between kind of sustain and keep on doing work, and to join, expand your group. So many things that those are struggle for me, because and ultimately to come up with the good stuff always.
Yeah.
Because either you do yourself, keep on directing plays, or maybe. So for me, to create more and more theatre people, to create more and more directors and the bigger teams, or maybe n number of teams, that is the struggle I think right now I am facing, and that is what the future, and to create some good stuff which is in terms of quality. So that is the struggle right now I am facing.
I see. All right. So what is the philosophy of your center? Does your programming take place around a certain philosophy or ideology?
Yeah. Should I answer?
Yes, please.
Yeah. The number one philosophy is like to promote the newcomers, because there are a lot of theatres going on right now across
Yes.
Ahmedabad.
Yes.
So we always kind of promote and support all the youngsters.
Brilliant.
See, we are charged. What we charge is something very peanuts. We are charging 3,500, including light, sound, mic, set, everything.
Hmm.
We help them in terms of designing light. We help them in terms of maybe operation of technicals.
Hmm.
Sometimes they don't have actors. We give them actors also. If they
Lovely.
don't
Wow.
have script, we give them script also. So
Yeah.
this is how we promote and create different themes. So this is
Hmm.
what one thing.
Hmm.
And philosophy again is to kind of speak fearlessly, because
Hmm.
uh, I don't personally believe in certain kind of things cannot be spoken or things like that.
Yeah.
Maybe with all the limits, and maybe do something political or maybe anti-establishment, because
Hmm.
theater is meant for that. That is my personal belief. So I
Okay.
do believe in this kind of programs, this kind of theater can be more and more. It should be more participative. It should be more interactive. So this is what the philosophy right now we are kind of channelizing ourselves.
I see. Okay. Gauri, what about you?
My philosophies have changed over the years,
I see.
Chintan, very, very simply, because one, I did not know Ahmedabad. I did not know how theatre in Ahmedabad worked. So yes, when I opened it up, it was very clear to me that I also wanted to promote the young, but at the same time, I think I've become very selfish when it comes to theatre. If there are subjects that I don't like, and I think that this is a dinner table conversation, which is coming up on the theatre,
Hmm.
so I like to curate my space.
I see.
Yeah. So, and the whole idea of getting into a space was to bring about a change in the theater scenario, because I have grown up watching theater,
Hmm.
and I have seen a lot of theater, so
Hmm.
I the idea was to actually kind of bring that change, and I'm very fortunate to be here in Ahmedabad and to actually witness some of the performances which are mind blowing,
Hmm.
uh, mind blowing, so I think I would want to still keep Footlight as a place which would always be curated,
Hmm.
as in something that I have conviction in. It's going to be a very selfishly my designed place.
Yes.
That the things that I really want to watch as an audience, the things that I really think that people have, put in a lot of hard work, kind of, to bring about that form on the stage. I would want to keep it very curated and
Hmm.
footlight.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So the next one is that do you interact with the others from the city, especially the others who have such spaces, and do you encourage their works or their spaces?
I was very inspired by your space, Chintan Fanatica. Very,
Hmm.
very, very inspired by your space. And I think, that, the moment you enter a space, there is a kind of a vibe that
Hmm.
you get, and I really, really appreciated the way you have built Fanatica.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's very, very beautiful. It would make you think, so when you go there, it could really stimulate. But unfortunately, I have not had an opportunity to interact with a lot of others in Ahmedabad. Yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad. I should do that actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Kabir Bhai?
Yeah, see, you might be knowing, I don't know whether you are known to the fact that when Chirag started doing theatre, when we established Scrapyard, he was part of it. Then he
Hmm.
wanted maybe more finer and more precise space, so he went for this Ouroboros thing.
Yes.
But I think so far in Ahmedabad, whoever tries to kind of do this kind of setup, they always consult me, maybe as an architect or maybe as a experienced person, because I think scrapyard, I believe it was a pathbreaker in this direction. So even recently, two more black boxes have come up. That is, one is Vishal Shah's Prayogshala, and
Mm.
another is Vikram Panchal's Natrang.
Natarang, yes.
Both of them had consulted, they took advice, maybe in
Mm-hmm.
some or other scenario.
Yes,
So this is how I'm connected with almost all the groups. Kind of,
that's true.
And I would love to connect with you, Kabir sir.
we are always scrapyard. Matlab, there is no door and there is no lock at the scrapyard. It is open 24/7. You can come anytime.
Thank you.
And do you interact with them? Do you go to see their performances? Do you see what their program is like? Uh, that was the second part of it. I mean, this is more the technical grounds because you are, of course, a theater person, theater maker, as well as an architect. So they certainly might come to you when they are opening up a place to seek some advice from you.
Maybe, but I keep on going there, and I keep on observing. I keep on interacting, because every time it is not possible to go and watch the performances, because more or less it was happening in a way ki, like performances are being performed over there, are getting given dates for the scrapyard. So it was always not possible to. But I keep on visiting the spaces.
Well, I'm happy to know that. How do you support the youth in their endeavors to practice performing arts? You slightly started with that earlier.
Ah,
What are the exact strategies that you deploy?
I think I don't follow any planning or strategies. Like I just throw some plays, start reading. If you like it, see, we have got a library at Scrapyard. I think it is one of the, I would, as far as my knowledge, it is one of the richest library in terms of theater. And I keep on kind of bringing books. I keep on like throwing books to them, read a lot of plays. A few of newcomers, they even come up with a good writing also. They've come up with new plays also. So this is how we keep on, any extra time we keep on discussing, we keep on kind of, I keep on pushing them, push their boundaries. So this is how my practice. I don't plan much as such, as I said. Yeah, I do a lot of planning on table for my design. So
Yeah. Yeah. Gauri, what about you?
It's an incubation center.
Yeah.
That's what I always try to. So there are a lot of artists from all. I mean, not only theater,
Hmm.
Chintan.
Yeah.
So there are painters, there are sculptors. We kind of experiment with a lot of, and my space is there.
Yeah.
So a lot of such people, they want to write, they want to rehearse, they want to spend the night at the cafeteria, and there's so many things. So it's like an incubation center, and I believe I learn a lot from them every time that they are
True.
there.
True. True.
So right now we're in the process of actually making an organic cafeteria, and all these people and kids from college, and they're coming up with ideas, and somebody's doing sculpting, somebody's making me boards, and so there's a lot of art forms
Yes.
to try to get together, except for obviously theater.
Yeah.
Theater is there, and there's a co-working space also now, which is only for the artists.
Brilliant.
So they can come, they can write, they can rehearse, and things like that. And that really brings the vibe,
Yeah.
of
True.
that place. So, yeah.
Yes. How lovely again, because for us at Fanatica, it's more or less, I mean, again, the combination of both these places, wherein we have people from different disciplines, basically
Yeah.
artistic backgrounds who come and work. But because we also, as theater practitioners, have a certain dialogue with them. So if somebody's sculpting, we have a performance being created around that entire.
Right.
Or we also do a lot of work with music because in our repertoire, we have artists who can do almost everything. So our actors can also sing, they can dance, they can play instruments. And like Kabir Bhai said, we also have a library. We have about 3,000. The specialization of our library is performing arts. So we have more than 3,000 books, about 1,500 periodicals, and more than 500 DVDs that we have collected from our tours across the globe. Whenever we go and perform there, we bring different things from different countries, which is sometimes rare to find here. So we also try to make it a space which is more of a cultural center, which provides the training part, which provides the performances, which provide a library or a multimedia library rather, and also a place to have a dialogue. And now we also have a weekend cafe. So it's there is too much happening at a place, but that's what the idea is, that it has to become a hub for interaction, for new thoughts to come, and especially for the youth to be groomed at a certain place wherein they can get exposure. They have talent and skill, but sometimes they lack in exposure, and we try to provide that. How brilliant is that? And for coming up with the next question, which is in line with whatever we just discussed, because all this sounds very fancy. All this is like, yeah, this is what I want to do, or this is what I would like to do, but there is an entire ecosystem running behind it, and which is the major worry, because when we are also wearing the cap of organizers or the directors of a center or the manager, it becomes always in the back of our mind. It is always a worry that how am I going to keep running this thing, because there's a lot of expenses and not so much of resources being generated to reciprocate the same thing. What is your ecosystem, and do you depend on government grants or private donations, or have you developed other strategies to run? These are the questions I'm asking also because there is an aspiring youth that is watching us live here and who may draw a lot of inspiration and learn from this thing. So if in future they would also like to run something, they would know from our experiences.
So
Yeah,
Chintan, when I
you start. Yeah.
started like 4 years back,
Yeah.
I knew theater wouldn't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
you know, and the kind of productions that we plan, it really needs a lot of money. It does need a lot of money, right? So I need to have two plans, right? Plan A and Plan B. Plan A would completely support my Plan B, right?
Hmm.
So what we started doing was we got into thorough trainings,
Hmm.
right? We got into education, and we
Hmm.
got tied up with the schools, and we were like almost aimed about all the schools. We were tied up, and we were doing our theatre curriculums from grade 1 to grade 8, and
Yes.
pandemic helped us go globally.
Yeah.
So we were doing not only in India, outside India, online trainings, which would generate a lot of resource for us.
Yes.
Then support all my theater fees
Yes.
that I have.
Yeah.
Also, I do not depend on government grants. If
Yeah.
need be, I depend on private grants. Which obviously is also a very difficult thing to track now. But my trainings, which might sound, which I've also experienced, that a lot of youth does not want to go into a job.
Hmm.
They do not want to train every day. But I thought that training every day, 365 days, was giving me enough resource to make a center, to support what I want to do there. So I stuck to that,
I see.
you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that is something that I kind of did, which was actually dividing myself into two. And my plan A was very successfully running and was supporting my plan B. So this is what I did.
I see. Kabir bhai.
See, this reminds me of one dialogue of very famous film Parasite. So when there is no plan, it is the great plan.
It
Hmm.
is the great.
There is no scope of failure. So again, as if I say it lighter in lighter note,
Yeah.
we collect scrap. So we are dependent on the scrap,
Yeah.
but ultimately, I think we are self-sustainable of keep the running the show because we don't spend much. We kind of in the mode of being minimalistic, and I think that is how we work. And I think best uh, my policy regarding this is work hard. You will survive. Nothing else.
Okay. Have you ever compromised or made concessions in your journey so far? If yes, then where and why? I would really like you both to be honest about it.
I think scrapping itself is a compromise. Don't you think? Uh,
I don't understand compromise, Chintan. I don't know.
Compromise, as in, it could be, the kind of work you had to do, or uh, in the process of, growing, there comes in life, a lot of times when you have to make choices, and though your heart or mind says something, you have to do something else because it's the compulsion of the moment or other.
I'm mindless, yeah, Chintan, so it's only the heart that rules.
Yeah.
Totally mindless.
See, compromise so far, maybe we have changed the format or forms of theatre,
uh,
but not compromise, I would say.
yeah.
Because that is not a compromise, because that is the way out.
Yeah, that's a way out, or maybe evolution also, because you might.
See, if you are saying that making lights and making dimmer yourself is a compromise, so I
No,
would say no,
no,
it is
no,
making way out. But
no,
if you
no.
say kind of key, you are doing without lights, then it might be a compromise. So we have always found a way out. I think not the compromise, I would say.
Okay. And what is need? Okay, to elaborate the earlier question, the compromise could have also been, sometimes because a certain theater production is in place, you need money or something else, and you may be invited by either an organization or a public agency or a government agency who would say, we commission you this, you do it for us, and you will have this money. Now, ideologically, you may or may not agree, but you might do that thing, and then you may fund the other thing. It's like a parent wanting to do something for their own child, because the child ultimately is their world for them, and is the world for them, and they may go against their own ethics or other things. It could be one of such events, or it could be compromising or making concessions for some people who you work with because you want to keep them, or you don't want to keep them. A lot of things like that.
I don't remember such kind of any kind of thing that I have to go through. Like
I see.
I'm very blunt in that way. If I don't want to do, I will say no. Kind of.
Yeah. Good.
Neither do
It's a
I.
very fortunate thing that
Yeah,
all of us have to go through a condition or a situation like this. What is needed, according to you, to develop a more professional cultural scene in the city, in Ahmedabad?
More than culture, it's professional, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I say more professional. There is a cultural scene, but making it more professional.
Yeah, I don't know. People who are doing theater only don't feel like, uh, I don't know, yeah. I mean, it's like something. I also see a lot of passionate youth who are very passionate about theater, but also, theater is taking the. Acha chalo, 1 baje bola hai. I might come at 2. And that's not a problem. So, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'm busy today. Can we rehearse at 10 in the night? So
Yeah.
it's like, it's not very professional that way. And I think this is something which we really lack over here.
Hmm.
Really, professionalism is what we really lack in the theater scenario over here, at least in what I have seen.
Kabir, how would you reflect on that?
can you elaborate your question because?
See, my question is, what is needed according to you
Okay, okay. I got it. I got it.
yeah.
See, first of all, what I think is like we need a lot of understanding of art across the society because what has happened is I kept name scrapyard. That is again there is a very kind of I do sarcasm that for Gujarat all the arts is a scrap. We collect scrap over here and see like if anybody choose a theater as a career, theater that would be the last option. See, understanding because theater is always, or maybe any art, if you take it as a career, it's a dustbin career because well, you don't get admission anywhere else, so you go to theater colleges. So that kind of mentality we need to change across the society. That is what I believe because see, my mom had been running dancing class since maybe more than 70 years.
Yeah.
So I've seen this kind of attitude towards art. I think there are a lot of jokes on maybe poet. Like if somebody say I write poetry, then somebody would maybe next question. Okay, but what do you do otherwise?
Otherwise, yes.
So this is what happened. Like I have the answer. I'm an architect otherwise,
Yeah.
but everyone doesn't have that answer. So I think we need to change this kind of mentality. Then only the professionalism, the understanding, because theater, natak kare che, that is natakiyo che, those kind of is very derogatory across this in Gujarat especially. It is very derogatory. See, I've seen the respect. If you are going, see, when we went to Bombay to do show at Prithvi, on railway station, we were over luggage with all the sets and everything. And I just said one sentence: "We are here to perform a show at Prithvi." And suddenly, all the doors were open, and there were no procedure needed. And policeman himself brought us the taxi, and he even lifted our baggage and
Back.
everything.
Yeah.
So this happens. I've seen this respect for the in Maharashtra, maybe in Bengal, maybe somewhere in southern part of India, but not in Gujarat. I'm sorry, but so this is what my thing is. Like, we need to change, and this will, like, I say very with pride that I'm doing theater. I'm an architect, but I'm more famous as a theater person than that.
Yeah.
So initially when I started, I was like keeping it secretive from my client. I didn't wanted to say them ki I'm doing theater. So they were all worried, na. If you focus on your theater, would you complete my project or not, and things like that. But gradually, I believe that everyone who is doing theater, they should tell with big bang that yes, I'm doing theater.
Okay. Yeah, so to resume, I could say that there is of course certainly this technical professionalism that we need to also develop, especially the practicing theatre companies, and when they train the youth, because those who have already been trained and cultured, it's very difficult to then modify their routine or their way of being. But at least for those new generations to come, we can train them hard on having a certain approach, whether it is related to time or training or practice or other things. But yes, at the same time, it is more on the global reflection of this thing, which comes rather from the society, and which is the societal reflection that this profession is such where everything can be taken for granted. The day the society starts looking at it with dignity, with respect, there will be both associated with it, even for those who practice it, and they will say that no, I can't compromise. I can't just take it so lightly, and whether it is time or training or whatever it is. Um, what has been the impact of COVID-19 on your center and the strategies that you employed to respond to it?
Mm, okay, I will start, or you are starting.
Turkey.
Okay. As such, there is no impact for us on COVID, because we could. I think after COVID, we are with more kind of energy and more integrity towards theater, because I was not very much taking interest in whatever is happening over here. It was almost on the automation mode.
Yes.
But since after COVID, I've seriously involved myself, and I think a lot of production. We have come with 4 or 5 productions post COVID,
Yeah.
and we have got a team of 100 people like right now who are working technically, who are working. They even broom the space, they clean the space, they do everything voluntary, and they do theater. And that is what I think I would say in a positive sign, because everyone is now alert that
Yeah.
anything can happen. So we have to be more cautious and more careful, and maybe doing more theater, because this is
Yeah.
the time we have to utilize.
True. Good. Very good. That mounts the spirit.
Yeah.
So one thing I realized is that before COVID, the people who would come and would want to do a show, they were very worried about the audience. How
Yeah.
many people do you think will come and watch the show?
True.
But COVID break, somehow, the artists, they just want to perform to them. So that fear of 50 or 40 or 30 has actually gone.
Yeah.
And it is the art that has started, it really has taken the first seat over the others. And they are dying to perform. They are dying to perform, is what I have
Actually,
seen.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, tell me
Very
about
true.
it. uh, yeah, I believe there is one realization which has also happened from the audience's side. The lack of human warmth that they have realized, the gathering, the importance of what it is to go and watch the live performances. As
Yes.
the artists miss, I think it's also our spectators who miss it so much.
Absolutely.
When the unlock happened, we started receiving the messages whether we are open, whether we are going to start up with the shows, because everybody got sick of all the OTT platforms that they got subscribed to.
Yes.
How much time could one spend in front of a screen all the time? And at the same time, we also explored some nice things about it, because then we explored the digitalization of some of the artistic expressions, and
Kullura.
realized that my spectator could be in Ahmedabad, but at the same time, he could be in San Diego or in Tokyo or in Perth. So nothing like it. What are your future plans with your
Now
center? Okay.
we'll go with the tide. See, the times are very, very uncertain.
I think that is also perhaps the impact of COVID-19, that
Yeah, because even now
not
the times
planning.
are very uncertain. You
Yeah.
see the cases are rising again in the city. You don't know what is going to happen after a week. So,
Yeah.
I think this is not really the time to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are there. We are going to be there. And I don't know. I mean, no plans, yeah, because you don't know what is the future like. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
today we are here. Tomorrow we might be in a lockdown again.
Yeah.
So
See, now I've got a different answer over here because I have a lot of plans now.
Super.
Because we have got a great team, and I realized there are so good actors. There are so many people who wants to put on their energy. So we
Yeah.
are coming up with a lot of technical workshops. We are coming up with directorial workshop, which is not happening. We are coming up with one series on Scrapyard, kind of OTT platform series, the
Wonderful.
Scrapyard Diaries, and with all experience of 5 years that I would like to share across the maybe on other platforms.
Yes.
So we have a lot of plans now. Maybe
Super.
whatever would work, but
Lovely. Lovely. Really lovely. And wish you all the very best for that.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
all the best to you too, Chintan.
Thank you. Thank you. There is one more question which is not listed here, but it just popped up in my mind while I asked you what were the struggles and other things. I also wanted to see how. I mean, if it is okay. Otherwise, I'll edit it, but I'll keep recording right now. If you are comfortable answering this, have you ever faced difficulties? Let's say from wherever your place is, the center is. For Kabir Bhai, it's more in a residential area. For you, it's actually in a building, commercial building. And wherever it would be, because it is the nature of our activities is slightly different than what the usual expectation of people's professional culture is. Whether it's in a residential area or in a working space, they always think that there is some problem with us, whether it's related to sound, whether it is related to the timing, whether it is related to the people who visit suddenly on one particular day in a big number and otherwise nobody is coming up at all. So for them, it is very difficult to understand that it can't be between 10 and 6, it can't be only on specific days, it can't be like this or like that. Have you had troubles from your neighbors, from your uh, I don't know how to say it, other people working in the same building?
Initially, yes. What they would do is that we have two lifts, Chintan,
Yes.
in the building, right?
Yeah.
And usually we have shows on Saturdays and Sundays, and they would very conveniently switch off one lift.
Oh.
Because it's not a working day. So
Yeah.
there is one lift. And then, of course, the numbers are high because that time it used to be like 120 people coming at the same time for one
Yes.
show.
Yes.
Thankfully, we were just on the second floor, but they would play these tricks with us.
Yes.
And parking ke liye andar, they would not let the cars come inside for parking.
Parking is always a major problem. Yes.
But eventually, eventually when they started coming for the shows, the
Yeah.
other people who
Yes.
work there. They understood that okay, this is something that we are doing. So thankfully now I'm not facing any
Any such.
problems
Okay.
whatsoever.
I see. Kabir.
I think it's a day-to-day problem for us because
Yeah.
parking major problem. You can see boards in some of
Yeah.
the houses.
Yeah.
Scrapyard people should not park here, kind of thing.
Wow. Oh.
And they come suddenly, just drop in, stop the show. My kid is studying, is getting disturbed, things like that. So
Oh.
we are kind of facing this. We are
Yeah.
dealing with that. We are trying to, because it's an open air thing. So, but we don't never use a loudspeaker and things like that. But I see this is kind of my responsibility because ultimately any art should not disturb others, whatever
Yeah.
way they are. Whether they
Yeah.
understand art or not, it is my responsibility. That is how I take it,
I
and I
see.
resolve the problem. Yeah.
Good. Well, so I mean, it's a coincidence that ultimately the three of us who are here, I tried to be slightly less a moderator and also participate time to time whenever I could to add my reflection about things. Not actually what a moderator would do.